Okay. We are live
Oh,
officially.
cool. Sweet.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's what I love about StreamYard. It's just so easy. You just click the button and boom.
Yeah, a lot of people like StreamYard. The only thing is, I want to figure out StreamYard kind of like how you can do it with Skype, where you can like get your background and all that, like green screen and all that stuff too. That'd be cool.
Yes. So this is my co-host, OGR, One Giant Rebuttal. I put his link actually in the description. So if you guys want to subscribe to him, you should definitely check out his channel. He's a great Giants YouTuber, just like
I appreciate
myself.
it, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the sports community is about. We all got to help each other out,
Yeah, great minds think alike, for sure, man.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about Giants free agency, and I just want to get some of your thoughts on which moves you liked and which moves you didn't like.
I don't mind all of them. Like I'm not a person that's like gonna like shit on the Blake Martinez move. I'm not a person that's just gonna be like this, because you can never judge a free agency until you actually know what those players have done. Because everybody gives the oh, Blake Martinez is a terrible move.
Right.
Okay, what if he has 150 tackles, a couple sacks, forced fumble here and there, an interception, and he's a Pro Bowler? Like, was that a bad free agent move then? No, it wasn't. It's just you have to judge it by the season. So, like, I'm okay with it. I understand where they're going with the moves.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I was saying the same thing. I didn't mind the Blake Martinez. I also liked how they didn't spend too much money in free agency.
Well, they actually spent it all, but they got like 9 people.
I was saying it wasn't like just on Clowney or something. It was like spread out. At first, I wanted Clowney, but then when I heard what he was demanding, I was totally done. I was just like, he is not.
I think a lot of teams are totally done on Clowney. He's gonna have to come down on that.
Yeah, he has to come down. $20 million a year is just too much.
For a guy you don't know what he's gonna produce. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. But what was your favorite move? For me, was the getting the cornerback, Bradbury.
Oh yeah, Bradbury's good. I just want to stay. What's up in the chat real quick? So I see Alex Sports here. What's going on, my man? I'm chilling like a villain. But anyways, going on to Bradbury. I love Bradbury. It's probably the best move the Giants have made. If not, I mean, I guess underrated ones would be like Kyler Fackrell. I mean, do you know about Austin Johnson, the guy that was signed today?
Yeah, I saw that we got him today. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, my favorite move was Bradbury. And I like Blake Martinez as well, because we only paid him $10 million a year. I don't think that was a bad signing at all.
Actually, a lot of people think that's a bad signing because of the promised money early in the contract. So we owe him $22 million in the first
2 years.
First 2 years, and then it's $8 million the last year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So I guess the contract is more front loaded than anything.
Yes, it's front loaded, which is I don't mind. I don't want the Giants making the same mistake they made in 2016.
Yes,
definitely not.
Yes.
So the whole Austin Johnson thing, I don't know if you noticed this about him being signed in free agency, but you can still rescind Leonard Williams's
tag. Yeah, you can.
It's tag. So it could. I'm not saying it will happen. It's just certainly a thing the Giants could do, picking up another depth piece and going with the guys that they're probably going to be starters like BJ Hill, Dexter Lawrence, and Delvin Tomlinson on the line, and then mixing everybody in as far as pass rush goes on the 3-4. Assuming we're going to be a base 3-4, who knows? Yeah,
I'm okay with Leonard. I want to see what he does with this 3-4 and this new coordinator that we have. Obviously, we also got to remember that we had one of the worst defensive coordinators last year.
Well, Patrick Graham wasn't better, but he did a very good job with the limited personnel he had in Miami.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what's going on? Colby Sports, Mr. Mysterious, Eagles UK. Stay cool. How's everybody? Brendan Rogers, I see in the chat.
Oh, Eagles UK here? That dude's a great supporter of mine. Every time I make a video, that dude's sharing it on Twitter. That dude's awesome.
Yeah, share this, guys. Share this everywhere. Trying to make this, one of the best streams possible.
Become the number one streamer all on YouTube in one night?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, there are streams that I got lucky in where I was able to be like one of the first people to report what happened, and I was able to get like 400 people watching at once. And oh my god,
that's awesome! That's awesome, my man.
Yeah, that is tough though to like read every comment. I was trying to read every single comment.
Yeah, it is tough. Alex just asked me a question. He goes, "OGR, what are your thoughts on the new DT edition today?" I just touched on it a second ago, but just a depth piece, really. But it could mean that Leonard Williams gets the tag rescinded. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Maybe somebody gets traded. Maybe they trade Delvin Tomlinson. That was a rumor that I heard flying around as well, but I think that'd be retarded.
Yeah, don't they have until July to rescind the tag and stuff like that?
Yes, they do. Or whenever the date is that all the tags must be signed by. I don't actually know that date. If somebody in the chat could help us out with that, that'd be great.
Yeah, how do you feel that the NFL draft is just going to be like online and it's not going to be really held anywhere?
I'm fine with it. I think a lot of people want the draft to me not held, but like if you watch the draft normally, like you see people getting drafted on the phone regardless, and they're holding a party at their house. Like this is nothing new, and they're still going to have people in the studio analyzing everybody, and you're just going to find somebody. It's just not going to be brought up on stage. And I'm sorry, with all the pomp and circumstance, this thing takes too long anyways. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm fine with it. Actually, I actually like it better than all the pomp and circumstance. You know, there's not enough people sitting there with their team booing the hell out of the move.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're right about that. It's like, it's going to be like interesting because the first time it happened like this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. Back in the day, I mean, it was never even televised at all. You know, you just had a bunch of people in a war room sending in tickets to the NFL and letting them know who they're going to draft. You found it, like, you know, a day or two after in the newspaper once upon a time.
So who do you think the Giants should take with their fourth overall pick?
Me, I want an offensive lineman. I know a lot of people maybe in the chat or at home want Isaiah Simmons, but, you know, I'm good with Brandon Wirth, Jedrick Wills, and Andrew Thomas. If we take one of those three, assuming we stay at 4, you know, in a perfect world, I want to see the Giants trade the pick away.
Yeah, if they can trade the pick away, but hopefully, like, they don't move too far back if they did something like that. But I agree. I said the same thing. We need an offensive tackle because Daniel Jones definitely needs some protection.
No, if you draft a quarterback, because we haven't done any favors. Like, you heard my video today. We haven't done any favors for Daniel Jones, and you know, we had the third most pressures. Some of it was his fault, holding on to the ball too long, being a rookie. But the fact is, the guys are just getting back there way too quick. And it's once you draft a quarterback, you must do everything in your power to make his job as easy as possible. And the Giants have done him no favors by taking away his coach, making him learn a whole new system. The least you can do is protect his ass.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. Yeah. That's why people are so critical about how many fumbles he had and stuff like that. But obviously, if you don't have the protection, like I remember Jamal Adams, like literally jumped over the guy and just took the ball from him.
Oh no, like, people were so furious in that game. There, people behind me, I remember. Oh, Daniel Jones is bad. He's terrible. Hold on to the ball, and I'm like, Jamal, one of the best safeties in the league, came through the line unblocked. Like, and you're yelling at that? Like, seriously, do you watch football?
That was the craziest thing ever. And that was a great game for you because you got to meet Entertainer, Bad Dog, and all those great YouTubers at once.
Yeah, Kid Blue, yep.
Kid Blue, yeah.
Even Bad Dog's friend there, I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
DWG.
Yeah, that must have been an amazing.
It was fun, and we want to do another one this year. So if you're up for it, you're more than welcome to come down.
Yeah, no, yeah, they told me, but I just couldn't that time for that game. But yeah, I definitely would like to for the next time around, whenever that is.
We're thinking about doing a Dallas game this year.
Oh, that would be great. Yes.
We're doing and trying to get some of the Dallas YouTubers in on it. Like, imagine somebody like a Mark Holmes coming up or a Law Nation. That'd be cool because the Dallas fans love to travel, so we could probably get a couple of them up here.
What about like Sean from Sports Fury or something?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, you know, Entertainer has a tie with them, so yeah, that'd be cool. That'd definitely be cool.
Yeah, what is going on with that? Is he?
Not really being too prevalent on the situation, but right now he just doesn't want to make a big jump to Texas. Like, he was all gung ho to do it, but then he was thinking about it like, I've got to move my entire life down to Texas, and if this doesn't work out, where am I then? So I think he'll eventually make the move, but I think he's gonna, come to it slowly. You know what I'm saying? They seemed to kind of rush that thing last year, and they all probably took a step back and said, "Whoa, this is a little too big of a jump right here."
Yeah, man. But it sucked that we lost that Jets game. I really wanted to win that game.
Oh, absolutely.
Man.
Kid Blue was sitting there. I had Kid Blue laughing because there was a serious Jets fan heckler, and we were just going back and forth the whole game. And then at the end of the game, he goes, "Dude, I respect the hell out of you." He goes, "You got me good so many times." I'm like, dude, I'm a construction worker by trade. That's all we do is talk to other people. So
right. Yeah.
What else was I going to say? So, kind of what I was touching today, and I'll briefly mention it, and then I'm eventually going to do a video on it. But the 3-4 defense, a lot of people don't understand the 3-4 defense. Like they look at Leonard Williams and they say, "Oh, he should have 10 sacks. Like he should be like Michael Strahan."
He's not used in that circumstance. Not the same way.
One, he's not using that circumstance. Two, it's the 4-3.
Yeah,
the 4-3. Your edges on the 4-3 get most of your pressure. Your outside linebackers in a 3-4 are the ones that predominantly get sacks, predominantly get pressure. If you look at some of really good 3-4 defensive ends, Mike Daniels, you probably never heard of Mike Daniels.
Yeah.
Amir Hicks, another one from the Chicago Bears. Really good. These guys are graded very highly on PFF. They're graded very highly, period. These guys, Hicks only had 7 and 8 sacks collectively the last 2 years playing with Khalil Mack. Last year he had 1. The defense was horrible with all the injuries. People just don't understand what a DE and the nose tackle in a 3-4 system is. They're meant to basically clog holes, shoot gaps, and allow the playmakers behind them to have an easier time making the play. They're basically just giant walls. It's what they are. They just take up space. And that's Leonard Williams' thing. He does get a decent amount of pressure on the quarterback and hits. He just doesn't get there. But I guarantee his sack numbers would go up if he had an elite pass rusher right next to him like a Khalil Mack.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. I was thinking the same thing. And I've also said that, we should give him a full chance, for this year because it's completely different schemes and stuff. And I want to see how he does.
And also, we don't know. With Patrick Graham, it could be like James Betcher, a multi-front system. Is it going to be a base 3-4? What was it going to be? They could switch to a 4-3. If the Giants take somebody, for example, Utor Gross-Matos out of Penn State in the second round, which is feasible. He's most likely a first-round prospect. But if they did, he's your typical 4-3 defensive end. We might be switching back to a base 4-3. So, and we have the personnel to do it. I could easily see Conley, Blake, and what's his face there? 55, I can't think of it. The other linebacker. But anyways, all of them on the field, and that's your 4-3 system.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And I just want to tell you that Daniel Berry said he just subscribed to you. So that's great. Yes.
I saw that, but I was kind of but I appreciate it, Daniel Berry. Thanks for the subscribe. You didn't have to, but you did, and I definitely appreciate it.
I everybody here that's watching, if you've not subscribed to OGR, please subscribe to him. He's a great YouTuber, great Giants YouTuber, and I love his rebuttal and the fact when he brings up the arguments, because sometimes it's stuff that I'm not even thinking about. Like today when you were talking about the 3-4, I wasn't even thinking about that, and then I was like, there's truth into it, and yeah.
Midwest Sports asked me a question. I said, yes, Midwest Sports. It is Keem Hicks. Good. I said a Cream Hicks or whatever I said. But yes, that's who I meant.
Yeah. So, which free agency signing were you the most shocked about? Like a guy going to a team where you were like, what? They went there?
For me, it wasn't any real big free agency signing. It was obviously DeAndre Hopkins. Right? I did not see that coming out of nowhere.
That is one of the worst trades, I think, in history now.
Yeah, and it makes the Odell Beckham trade that much better. You know what I'm saying? I feel so much better. We definitely won that trade. As Giants fans, we can confidently say we ripped off the Cleveland Browns. Can we not?
Yeah, I mean, we got a first and a third, and we got a player too.
And how many people came on here? I mean, I took the opposite, but I'm like, how many people came on here was just swearing up and down, I can't believe we let OBJ go. This is going to be a mistake. You're going to regret this. What did I regret so far?
No. There was no regret for me. Like, even in my video, if you look back, I actually was very happy that we treated him and was very happy with what we got, because I thought we got a lot. Because, like, as receivers, sometimes you don't get a first, and we saw that with DeAndre Hopkins. But then, what do you call it? Buffalo traded like thing to get Stephon Diggs. Yeah, I mean, the Odell Beckham trade looks amazing, and I'm happy we got rid of that, because that is something Daniel Jones, I don't know if he would be able to deal with as a rookie,
I think he would have been able to deal with it, but a lot of people were like, well, what have Daniel Jones done if he did have OBJ? Not much more. He didn't have a whole lot of time to throw the football. It was the same thing as Eli Manning. Like, crazy to me.
It's true. It's not just about the receivers. You also need to have protection. But what did you think about the Diggs trade? I mean, that Buffalo was
Buffalo is all in on the season. The Diggs trade, that symbolizes that. When teams do something crazy like that, they're all in on the season. Buffalo thinks they are a Super Bowl contender, and that's what they're going for. I don't agree with it. I think they gave up way too much. But hey, at the end of the day, if that's what they think they need to get to themselves to the Super Bowl, by all means, go ahead and try it.
What other trade I wasn't a fan of was the Nick Foles trade. Just because, like, why are you going to pay him all that money? I'm not a big believer in Nick Foles like that. They could have just waited and got Cam Newton later on, I feel, or something. What did you think about the Nick Foles trade?
Nick Foles trade, I mean, I could see why Bears don't trust what's his face? I can't even think of his name right now. Is the quarterback there? Why can't I think? I drew a blank on him, but we all know who I'm talking about. Anyways, they don't trust him, so they have Nick Foles. So it's good for the Bears. It gives him competition, and it makes their first round quarterback, okay. You either start showing something now, or we're going to bring in somebody who would actually take over the job. The Jaguars might think but Jaguars are now rebuilding. They were all in on Nick Foles because they thought they had a potential playoff team, and they were mistakenly wrong. Kind of like similar to what the Giants thought. After the 2016 season, our ownership said, we're all in on 2017. Jerry Reese and them thought, okay, let's just repeat, and didn't work out. Here, from year to year, one year you could be gangbusters thinking you're a Super Bowl team. The next year you're rebuilding. And that's the way it is in the NFL. And that's basically the Jaguars are now a rebuilding franchise. And that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, I agree. I just thought that, I don't know if Nick Foles really helps the Bears that much, though. I don't know if he is going to be good over there. That's just my concern.
Now I remember Mitch Trubisky's name, but Mitch. It's there to push Mitch. They're going to have a QB competition. And if Mitch doesn't come out and prove that he's the number one pick everybody thinks he is, Nick Foles is going to take over. And Nick Foles has the potential to be very well if you can put him in a system that he's comfortable with, that he can operate under. Yeah. Last year, he never got his footing under himself with the Jaguars at all. He had the broken collarbone. He came back. He wasn't the same player. And, that's been Nick Foles' calling card, consistency. But when he's hot, when he's on, when he's consistent, I mean, we can see what he does. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So
I want to get your take on this. Where do you think Cam Newton goes now that he's a free agent?
That one's tough.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of places, I speculated that Tom Brady would have gone to the Raiders or something like that. But as these QBs get picked up, I think Cam Newton gets a call after the draft. If there's a team that didn't draft the quarterback they want, or he might stay on the sidelines a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. Don't forget, there's uncertainty with the injury. They don't know what you're going to get out of Cam Newton. We don't know what type of player. Do you really think that Cam Newton's going to return to MVP form?
No, we don't know that for sure. We're just hoping that he does.
Does Chad think that that Cam Newton's going to return to MVP form? Because if the answer is no, I could see somebody like the Chargers, maybe the Patriots, if they're desperate. Yeah. But I think they're going to give Stidham the job, and they're going to see what he can do.
Yeah. I that's what I had. I had the Chargers trying to sign him. because I don't know if they can compete with just Tyrod as their quarterback right now at this point.
I mean, Tyrod, you can have a winning roster with Tyrod, and they have very quality pieces around. It's just you
But
have to ask yourself,
how far can you go with him is my question. Like, I don't think he's ever taken a team to the playoffs, has he?
Yes, he took Buffalo to playoffs a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago, right? Yeah. I don't know. To me, he's like just a game manager type quarterback.
He is a game manager type quarterback, but the Giants.
There's nothing wrong with that, but then your defense. And I don't know how to charge.
Yeah, I hear you. But also, Kobe Sports. He says Cam Newton was MVP until he saw the Broncos defense. Good one.
Yes, of course. He loves the Broncos, so he's gonna say that. The most shocking one for me was just a signing was that Melvin Gordon went to the Broncos because I didn't really think they needed him. I thought Philip Lindsay was fine, but I don't know.
Well, if you looked at the Broncos, they split a lot of time between Freeman and Lindsay. I always felt as a Giants fan, outsider's perspective, why didn't they just run Lindsay more? He was always productive. Like, he's a very good back. I think Lindsay's good enough to be a bell cow back, yet they're splitting carries with Freeman. So obviously it's very clear to me that the Broncos look at Philip Lindsay and they say, you are a third down back. Go out there, Melvin Gordon. I want you to be our bell cow. And one of those guys is out of there, so I can imagine it's going to be Freeman.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think happens to Freeman? You think he gets cut or traded or anything? Like,
they'll try and get something for him, but he's never been that productive. Like, he's been decently productive, but a team would have to be enamored for him to be a starter. Right now, he's a backup option, like somebody like the Giants. If we didn't go out and sign Deion Lewis, I don't think the Giants need another scat back because I think Saquon can do all of that. I want the Giants, like, Saquon can run between the tackles, don't get me wrong. But hey, Freeman's always falling forward. That's the one thing I respect, and he can run between the tackles. Why make Saquon take those unnecessary hits? Yes, he's going to be your bell cow back, but go and let somebody else chew up some of that mileage. And Freeman would have been a perfect option for the Giants if the Broncos let him go. But obviously that ship has sailed.
Yeah, but I actually liked the Deion Lewis signing too because he can catch passes and stuff as well. He's not, but I mean, so can Saquon, obviously. So they're kind of, Lindsay should have been the guy, but no splitting carries with your favorite. Wow. Yeah, no, I had Philip Lindsay on my fantasy team last year, and so every time Royce Freeman would score the touchdown, it pissed me off.
Oh, I hear you. That's it.
Do you do
totally
that?
Ridiculous.
Do you do fantasy football OGR or not really?
Oh yeah, I'm huge into fantasy football. Love fantasy football. Yeah, it's so funny. Like, I'm so into fantasy football, and my whole concentration goes into fantasy football. Yet to like kind of break up the monotony, I play fantasy baseball. It's probably like a $50 league. I win the fantasy baseball league and I get destroyed in my fantasy football league. And literally, this is how I draft my fantasy baseball team. I literally took average projections through multiple sites, and it gave me like an average projection on all of them. And I drafted on average so if I saw somebody was like, average being picked at 30, and I'm seeing we're at the 60th pick, that's a value pick right there. And I won doing that strategy. It was the dumbest thing. I hadn't done any research. And then with being friends with Chris, I'm like, oh, well, Pete Alonso, he's awesome. And he goes, you should pick him up on your fantasy team. Okay. So my fantasy team was stacked last year and just absolutely crushed it in fantasy baseball. But fantasy football, it's just, I always get that one injury or I take a chance on some player. And I always get booted. But I usually make the playoff, but I get bounced in the first round.
Yeah. Oh, so like when you heard Tom Brady going to the Buccaneers, what was your original reaction? Because for me, I wasn't shocked. I figured he might go there. It made sense. But what about you?
I thought he would always go to the Raiders. I knew Tom Brady was going to leave because I know Tom Brady wants to push TB12. That's his retirement fund, TB12. And I thought he would go to some state where he could really push it. And then I look and Florida, Florida, Tampa Bay area makes a ton of sense. And when I heard that they were making a big push for him, I was like, okay, it's probably, right in the bag. And sure enough, it was. So to me, I wasn't shocked by it either. I definitely was. I thought he was going to leave because I think at the end of the day, he wants to say, Belichick, yeah, you're a good coach, but don't forget, you had me best quarterback of all time. And I'm going to try and prove it otherwise.
Yeah. I think that's definitely going to hurt the Patriots next year. I don't know if Stidham could carry.
We're about to find out, or you get Cam Newton.
Yeah, if they get Cam Newton, then all bets are off. But I was saying, as if I see Stidham as the starting quarterback, I don't know. I mean, I can't say he's bad because he's new, but it's hard for me to believe that this is the guy that's going to take them to the Super Bowl.
I mean, I don't think he's take him to the Super Bowl. This is his first year full time starter, but he did get to stand, learn behind Tom Brady. Bill Belichick just doesn't pick any old quarterback. He's good at identifying quarterbacks. I mean, is Jacoby Brissett the best quarterback of all time? No, but you can win games with Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Brian Hoyer is a competent backup. Like, is he the best quarterback of all time? No. Jimmy Garoppolo. They were grooming Jimmy Garoppolo to take over. He went to the Super Bowl last year with Jimmy Garoppolo. The 49ers went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. So he obviously has an eye for quarterbacks. So I'm not just going to write off the Patriots because Bill Belichick, sees talent and he's able to develop it. If he's able to develop Stidham, do I expect Stidham to be as good as Tom Brady? No. But if Stidham's a competent quarterback, you can win with that. Everybody has this misnomer that you need this all-star pro caliber quarterback to win.
There's been tons of quarterbacks. As long as you have a good enough defense, you can win,
And people just don't believe in that model anymore. Like, I heard the dumbest thing from Pro Football Focus. They said, oh, well, just keep picking quarterbacks because it's the most important position because you need a quarterback. Well, quarterbacks don't grow on trees. So, when I tell people, Dak Prescott's worth $35 million, their jaw hits the floor. And I said, well, why is your jaw hitting the floor? Well, he's not a great quarterback. You need a great quarterback. I said, so tell me, where are the Dallas Cowboys getting a great quarterback? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, buddy. If you find yourself an average to an above average to a good quarterback, you must do everything in your power to keep them.
And that's what Tennessee did with Ryan Tannehill. I felt like, he had a good season last year, and he proved that he can take the team pretty far. I mean, he wasn't even the starter for the full season, and they went to the AFC Championship game. Now, people always say, it was Derrick Henry in the playoffs. Yes, but in the regular season, if you look at it, it was Ryan Tannehill. And then in the playoffs, it was mostly Derrick Henry carried the whole team.
Well, Derrick Henry carried everybody on his back, literally. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Ryan Tannehill still has to converge on third down. Yeah. Ryan Tannehill still has to make those deep throws against the Ravens to beat them. So at the end of the day, people just don't respect the person that can make plays when asked upon. They never respect it. And they want everybody to chuck it 50 times a game, and they want everybody to be Patrick Mahomes. I've watched the Giants win a Super Bowl with Jeff Hostetler, just pounding it with old Otis Anderson. Like, you can still win that way. Just because analytics say you can't, a lot of teams prove analytics wrong year in, year out. I've never been a big believer in the analytics side of things. I think I've done rebuttal videos on analytics because to me, analytics, it's an equation. Mm-hmm. When you have any equation in math, you always have a certain thing you weigh over another.
Right.
Just think about doing basic algebra. Add, subtract, multiply, divide. You have to do it in that certain order. So you're weighing adding higher than division or multiplication, So it's like, what value is PFF weighing over a certain one? Because if analytics were all the same, all analytical sites would agree on a player, but they don't.
Yeah.
So certain sites weigh other statistics more than others. And so I really can't trust people like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What did you think of the Super Bowl? Did you enjoy it? Were you happy that
it was definitely better than the snoozer of the year before? So, and I was excited to see two new teams in it. I was rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs. I wanted Andy Reid to get
Yes,
his ring, and
Yes,
he definitely deserved it. You know, I don't respect many Eagles players, but Andy Reid is definitely, you know, somebody I've always respected. So
yes. I was happy that he won it over there, not on the Eagles.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for the Eagles fans to say, "Oh, Andy's never going to win one with the Chiefs," okay.
Yeah.
Maybe if you gave him somebody other than Donovan McNabb to work with, he may, might have a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. Donovan McNabb, I think the Hall of Famer, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard Eagles fans call him a Hall of Famer. Donovan McNabb is not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah.
If Donovan McNabb's a Hall of Famer, then Eli Manning's a first ballot Hall of Famer. How about that?
Yes. That is so true. Yeah.
So what else you got for me, man?
Also, like, there was somebody that you made a video about Strong Opinion Sports when he said Eli was not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Funny, because as soon as your video came out, I don't know if he saw your video and that's why he did it, but literally like a day or two, or maybe people were hating on him so much he had to make a video, but like literally like a day or two, he said, no, Eli is a Hall of Famer, and here's why.
Well, because because he was looking at it as if everybody looks at it and says, okay, you need to be an all-time great to be a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Namath's not a all-time great. Jim Plunkett's not an all-time great. Bob Greasy's not an all-time great. Yeah, but they're older players. Well, it doesn't matter. They're in the Hall of Fame. You can only be judged by the people that came before.
Right.
Eli Manning matches up with some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time statistically, if you like it or not. Well, he's led the league in interceptions. So is Brett Favre, your point. Like, it doesn't matter if you think somebody's a Hall of Famer or not.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter, and like Skip Bayless, if you have to ask a question, then you shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Skip, there's plenty of questionable Cowboys that you put in the Hall of Fame, Aikman being one of them, but I don't see you having that gripe. He's a 4-time Super Bowl champ. When you have a multiple-time Super Bowl champ, there's only one other quarterback that's been kept out of the Hall of Fame for being a multi-time Super Bowl champ. They don't walk on trees, especially at the quarterback position. So you have to put Eli Manning in, if you like it or not. You know, if you're going to put Joe Namath, my argument's always, if you're going to put Joe Namath in, you must put an Eli. Yes. Or if you don't want to put Eli and you're so against it, start taking people out. Yeah. And then I'll go, okay, Eli Manning's not a Hall of Famer at that point. But until you start taking people out of the Hall of Fame, which they're not going to do because that'd be an embarrassment, and Eli's going in. He may not be first ballot, but I expect year 2, 3, 4, 5, he will get in.
Yeah. Brett Favre leads the league in interceptions all time.
yes, he does.
Oh my god, that to me that's such a funny statistic. It
is a funny statistic, but at the end of the day, that guy defined a gunslinger.
Yeah, no, I mean I love the way he played, though, to be honest, because he used to just take chances, just throw it wherever he could, you know.
Oh, Brandon, I don't disagree. I'm just saying, if you look at Aikman's numbers compared to the people that he's been put in against, it's not even close. Yes, Aikman deserves to be in a Hall of Fame because he's a multi-time Super Bowl champ. But, like, there's questionable Cowboys that are in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I don't hear somebody like Skip Bayless saying, oh, this person doesn't deserve to be in.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Aikman, though, had tons of talent around him. He had probably the best weapons I could think of. Like, it's crazy. I mean, he was a great quarterback, not saying anything that, but I'm saying he had a lot of talent to work with. Yeah, what also was it was weird that Terrell Owens didn't get in, like, this first time or his second time. It took him 3 tries to get in.
Well, I mean, you also just have to act a certain way too. Like, he acted like a clown. He threw the NFL under the bus. Like, act with a little bit of, respect. And he would have gotten in a lot, but he just wanted to throw everything underneath the bus.
I mean, his numbers would have definitely first ballot, but it was his attitude that held him back. Yeah.
There is a lot more to being a Hall of Famer than just simple numbers. Yeah. Like, you need to be a standout person.
Like a professional and just the way that you go about yourself. And he did not do that at all. Who wins the NFC East? OGR, says Colby.
It's tough to say, but I mean, as much as I hate to say this name, and it'd be finally at fruition. Right now, the Eagles, on paper, are the best team in the NFC. Don't get me wrong; they still have problems. I could shit on Eagles fans all day. Like I have shit on Eagles fans at the past, like Lord Brunson. But at the end of the day, yeah, their starting rotation is great. But if they have a couple injuries here and there, they do not have the depth to recover. So right now, I'd have to say the Eagles because the Cowboys just lost too much. Even though they did go out and get Dontari Poe, they still got what's his face from former Tampa DT.
Yeah,
I can't think of his name right now. But they add some pieces, but they've lost a lot more. That offensive line's a little bit weaker now. So I'd have to go Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Redskins. As much as I hate to say that, believe me, I'm rooting for the Giants to win that division because I like the fact that we can say we haven't had a repeat winner in God knows how long.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I think Eagles will probably win the division, but I also want to see how the draft goes and who they draft to determine between those two teams because it could go either way between Cowboys and the Eagles. I have the Eagles right now. I think they did a lot of good moves for their team, like getting Darius Slay. They didn't really give up that much. If you think about it, a third and a fifth for a guy who could be a pretty good cornerback.
Yeah, but don't forget, he wanted to be out of Detroit. Detroit had no choice. Once a person says, "I'm not going to play for your team anymore," you have no choice but to trade that player or cut him. Yeah, and if you might as well trade him and get something for him.
I know. I just hated the fact that he went to the Eagles.
I'm not really worried about Darius Slay on the Eagles. I'm really not. Like, Darius Slay is almost 30. If you look at the average age of a corner, 28, 29, 30, 32, 31, 32 are usually the years they start to decline.
Yeah, that's true.
What's the first thing that goes when you're a player like that? Is speed. Speed at corner, even a base 4.5 speed as a corner is a must. You don't see too many corners that run a 4.6 or 4.7. They usually run 4.5 or above. If you don't run 4.5 as a corner, you're not going to play in the NFL. Plain and simple. And if you lose just a half a second, guess what? You go from a very good corner to an average corner overnight. And Darius Slay has been banged up. Has he been injury prone? No, but he's been banged up the last couple of years. And if he goes down with an injury for whatever reason, what depth do the Eagles have behind him? None.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. I hate both of these teams so much, the Eagles and the Cowboys. It's like
growing up, I used to hate the Cowboys.
Yeah, that was me too. Yeah.
But as time goes on, ever since the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they are the most annoying
fan base
on the face of the planet. Like, their fans are on a delusion level that I've never seen in sports. Like, it sickens me. Yeah. Like, I'll tell you right now, I actively listen to Lord Brunson every day.
Yeah.
He is the best comedian on YouTube. Best comedian, blows anybody out of the water. If you want to laugh, listen to Lord Brunson's stream. Actually, he doesn't back up half the crap he says, but it's great. It's great.
No, yeah, I've seen the stuff that he said last year when the season was going on, and I was just like, this is insanity. This is crazy. This makes no sense. I don't know why he's saying this type of stuff. And it's just comical. I can't even take it seriously at all.
Yes, Kobe. Eagles Champs 1 is equally as funny as Lord Brunson. There's a lot of comedians out there. There's solid Eagle fans. Don't get me wrong. I really like Philly Special. I really like Philly 500.
Oh, yeah. I've done a video with him, and he's just amazing guy. Should get him back on here someday. But, yeah. He's a great guy to talk to, and just
and Joey Shakes as well is not a bad Eagles fan.
Yeah, I mean, there's good.
Spunky 1991. I can go on forever.
It's just for the most
E-Rock, love E-Rock.
Yeah, just their fan base still tends to be annoying. But the thing I hate about the Cowboys fans is they always think they're going to be in the Super Bowl every year. It's like, based on what? It's been a while since you guys have even gotten that far.
I think Cowboy fans are slowly coming down to earth, and especially now. My buddy goes, there's a kid I work with. His name is Ralph, and he's a really big Cowboys fan, and he's a younger kid. So he'll come up to me and be like, "So Jeff, what do you think about the Cowboys?" And I said, "Ralph, put out your hand. I'd like to shake your hand. How does 7-9 feel like to you this year?" And he goes, "I hate you so much, but you're right."
Yeah, no, that's true. Philly Special, yes, another good guy. Philly Special. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I've been on his shoots before too, so he's pretty cool. Yeah, we're not saying there aren't cool Eagles fans. Just there are some really annoying ones as well. Same thing with Cowboys. Like, there's great Cowboys fans, and there's really annoying ones as well. You have that, but it's like I agree with the fan base. The Eagles are far worse than the Cowboys in terms of just fan base. Yeah.
No, back up 25 years, maybe I'll switch around, but
Yeah,
right now, Eagles by far are the most hated fan base, quickly followed by the Patriots for me, even though that Tom Brady left, and then followed by the Cowboys after that. Redskins, I've never hated.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just indifferent.
No.
Like, they have the worst owner in sports. Like, I don't care.
Said the same thing. My whole life, the Redskins have pretty much sucked. So it's like whatever, I can't hate a team that's just bad every year, and because of their owner and because of the decisions they make. But I will tell you, though, they did get Ron Rivera. I mean, maybe he makes some changes to that franchise. I don't know. What do you think about that, OGR?
Ron Rivera, we'll see. They have to make a decision at quarterback.
Yeah, they really do.
Do they believe in Dwayne Haskins?
He's just like, in the midst of all this, and they're not saying, you're the guy. So they're gonna have to figure out who would be the guy.
Absolutely. But it's really going to be interesting if they, take Tua Tagovailoa at 2, and let Chase Young, does the Chase Young sweepstakes begin? Do the Detroit Lions still want Jeffrey Okudah? They could certainly go Isaiah Simmons. It's going to be real interesting in the draft. Do they try and get their quarterback behind Matthew Stafford?
The Lions to me are always a wild card, because they never do what you expect. Every time I look, so I remember there was 3 years in a row where they took receiver back to back to back, and I was like, "What?" And there's always teams like that. Like the Raiders last year, they took somebody. I forgot his name exactly. He was like defensive end.
Defensive end Confair.
Yeah, there's these teams. Sometimes you're like, "Yeah, this is what they're gonna do," and then they do the complete something crazy.
Well, here's the thing. We always listen to these so-called draft experts, and then we're saying, "Oh, well, they're all the draft experts boards are pretty close." So when they go up and reach somebody that's at the 16th, rating on their board, but he falls to 4, for the Raiders, like he did last year, people are just like, "Oh my God, are you kidding me?"
Yeah,
Raiders did their due diligence. Mike Mayock really liked him. Obviously John Gruden liked him. So it's I'm not saying they couldn't be right, because everybody made fun of us at 6 for Daniel Jones, and I'm not saying, he's our definitive starter for the next 5 years.
Yeah,
but he's certainly gone in that direction.
Yeah, no,
we have to see year 2, but
the Daniel Jones thing was funny because also and that's the thing with these mocks. They're just mocks, just what the experts think. But teams think completely different than these people a lot of times. Like when we saw Daniel Jones go at 6, people did say that the Giants were interested in Daniel Jones, but with the mocks that I was looking at, they didn't have Daniel Jones there at 6. They were like, no way does he go 6. And I mean, look at the uproar between all the channels on YouTube and everywhere. People were so shocked that the Giants did take Daniel Jones at 6.
I don't think I'm ever going to react like that ever again, because even me, I went in my car and I freaked out. But
well, it's a new reaction, I mean, I freaked out too. Entertain a bad dog. They were alive. Their reactions were just priceless.
I came out with me and Kid Blue came out with the biggest egg in our face after that draft, because both of us are like, when we heard the report, Daniel Jones is definitively going to the Giants, we're like, it's a smoke screen. I had a nice little friggin' I worked hard on it. I had a nice little what's the picture you put? I am forgetting everything tonight. I had a nice little picture up right before my video, so everybody can see it. Thumbnail. There we go. I had a nice little thumbnail I made with Daniel Jones in the smoke. It's all smoke. Don't believe this. And then draft night.
It happened.
6th pick in the NFL draft. The New York Giants select Daniel Jones, quarterback Duke. What?
That was something, yeah. And going back to Kid Blue, though, I remember when Odell Beckham was traded, and he was freaking out.
I rebut him so bad on that.
Me too.
Me and him went back and forth.
I went on his channel, on his Hangouts, and it was bad for me because everybody's Giants fans here, and so am I. But I was thinking about it logically. I didn't like to get my emotions riled up, and they had their emotions up. So I was going up against like 3-4 people. They were all like, "What are you talking about?" And this and that. And I was like, "Listen, it's a good trade. I think it's going to work out for us in the end." And so far, I think we're winning this trade. So we won that trade in my opinion.
Like me, when I do, like sometimes, like I generally don't. I try to be respectful of everybody in my comment section, but sometimes you get these trolls. And I said, what? I'm a smaller channel. I'm going to entertain you. So they'll come out with the most absurd statement. And I've done it in the past where I'm like, I'll literally call them out on YouTube. I'll tell them why they're completely wrong. And I never see them again. Like I embarrass them into the point where I never see them again. I rarely ever get a troll in my videos. Like once in a while, an older video will be like, somebody will say, well, this didn't age well. Well, yeah, I just got on YouTube. I didn't have anything for editing software or camera or anything. So yeah, it didn't age well. You're right.
The thing is with sports is some people take it too emotionally, I feel, and they don't think about it logically because people love it.
I agree with that 100%.
I did too, but I thought about it more like, hold on, let's see. There's a reason that they did this. Let's see what it is. And when I heard that they got a first and a third, I was ecstatic. And then they got a safety too that was pretty decent for us last year. I was like, this is good. I don't know why people are hating on this. And I was trying to tell Kid Blue, don't worry, it's going to be okay. But it was the first day that it happened, and he was so riled up in his emotions, which I understand. But me, when I think about sports, I try to think logically, not emotionally.
I always tell Giants fans, stop thinking with your heart and think with your head. Like somebody can pizzle, like he thinks with his heart. And if you consistently think with your heart, that's all you're going to have is heartache. Right. I'm not saying you don't love your team, you do. Yeah. But start thinking with your head, think logically.
Yes.
There's more than meets the eye here. When I come up and I think about what I'm going to say with the Giants, I try to come at it with different angles. I'll listen to Bad Dog. I'll listen to Chris. I'll listen to you. Yeah. I'll listen to Alex Sports. I'll listen to everybody's thing. I like I say, I listen to everybody. Everybody thinks like, oh, well, maybe he doesn't listen to me. Well, I don't always comment on your video. I'll bang a thumbs up here and there. But for the most part, I'm there to listen. I'm trying to come up with the best possible solution or just best possible thing to like encompass everything. You know what I'm saying? So I try to come at it logically, and I imagine you do the same. So.
Yeah, that's what I try to do. I mean, I'm a Giants fan, and of course you get emotional about the players and stuff, but it's like you can't let that cloud your judgment, because sometimes it's like the move was good, but you're thinking about it with your heart, and it's not the right way to go about it. It's just sports, so it's like in the end, it's a business too. So as people are going to get traded that you like, and people are going to leave that you like, happens all the time.
OGR, greatest of all time. OGR, what a beast.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you have not, please subscribe to this guy. He's great. And his channel link is in the description. So, So anything else you want to talk about on Giant Rebuttal?
We've covered everything, but I mean, I can think of subjects here or there. Yeah. But, when I talk about the Giants, I really want to just tell people, like, ease your expectations. You're in the second year of a rebuild.
Yes, yeah. I am not expecting much.
I'm not saying you should expect a 5-11 record. I expect 7-9, 8-8 competitive record. Not be totally out of the playoffs by what's not. Kobe Sports, I think the Broncos are in the same position as the Giants, to be totally honest with you. Young quarterback, second year in the league. A decent defense. You guys are playing in a tough division with the Raiders, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chargers. Who knows what's going to happen? You're playing in a very tough division. I mean, again, I think the Broncos right around the same record, 7-9, 8-8.
I also think this free agency is crazy in the fact that like a lot of new quarterbacks are in a lot of new teams. Like it's great. Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback of the Panthers, Foles, Bears. Like if you think about it, it's a lot of new faces. Philip Rivers is on the Colts.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
that's gonna be interesting. I secretly like if I really had to pick another team to root for, like if the Giants like went away and were never a franchise again, I think I'd become an instant Colts fan. I don't know why. I've always liked the Colts, even before Peyton Manning. I've always been attracted to that white and blue. I don't know why.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, and I think Philip Rivers may be better there because their offensive line is one of the best, actually. So,
depressed Steelers fans trying to get your attention.
what's up, depressed Steelers fan? So,
yeah, man. When it comes to the Giants, I try to think logically. I don't think with my. I try to think with my head over my heart.
God, yeah.
And I try to come at it from a different perspective. Like I was just going back and forth with Bad Dog and Chris today, and they were going to be going live at 9. Yeah. But I said, hey, highlight this at some point. But this guy, Austin Johnson, coming here could be that the Giants are going to rescind, and maybe the Giant fans get their wish. A lot of Giant, even though I don't agree with it, and I know you don't agree with it, a lot of Giants fans really want Jadeveon Clowney.
I don't
agree. It's certainly possible. It's certainly. I don't want him because you're going to need a long time commitment toward this guy.
Yeah,
and he's been inconsistent at best. He's definitely not worth the first round pick that the Texans spent on him.
Oh no, yeah,
and he's still a good player. Like people don't get that. Like, oh well, he's a first round bust. Okay, but he's a first round bust for the team that drafted him.
Yeah,
for us, that's a good player. But he's not $20 million worth it.
$20 million, that's the problem right there. Like, that's quarterback money almost. Like, for most quarterbacks get paid around that much, a little bit more. But for a guy who's just been injury prone and not played to the potential that he could have been, I wouldn't want to risk the money there, honestly.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Jadeveon is a difference maker on the field. Like, he was definitely a disruptive force in that Eagles game. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of Eagles fans will be like, oh, well, that was a dirty hit. Okay. Carson Wentz went to the ground, and then Jadeveon did end up landing on top of him, but he did try somewhat to get out of the way. Was it perfect? No. But I don't think he went in there and was just like, oh, I'm going to kill him. Like, no.
It happens so fast. It's hard to just, stop. Like, what was he gonna do? I don't know.
It's like I don't know what else he could have done. I'm sorry, your quarterback's not. Your quarterback should drink milk. I don't know what to tell you, Eagles.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe stop going from 1% and go to whole milk. I guess I don't know.
I mean, he's so talented, Carson Wentz, but he's just injury prone.
He's injury prone, and I don't think he's a finished product.
No, he's not.
I don't. Sometimes he'll drop back and. Kind of like Daniel Jones, he's got the fumble issue. Like people don't like. Everybody will highlight Daniel Jones' fumble issue. Daniel Jones fumbled 16 times. Guess how many Carson Wentz fumbled last year?
Yeah, how many? I don't know the exact amount.
Chat, take a guess real quick. We'll play with you. You can play around real quick. I'll give you guys about 10 seconds.
So you said Daniel Jones 16. I guess around 12. I don't know if that's right. More? 14. Right.
More. And that wasn't a thumbs up. I meant to say more. 15.
15?
And Colby Sports loves milk. Colby, now are you a 1% guy, skim milk, 2% whole milk, almond milk? It's out there. Oat milk, there's another one.
Yeah.
I'd never even known about oat milk. I want to really try it. 25, 40. That's the fumbles, yeah. So 15 on Carson Wentz, yes.
15. 40. 15. Who the hell guessed 40? No way. It's way too high. Yeah. But I just think, he's more, I don't know. I'm just not a big Dak Prescott believer.
I don't blame you for not being a Dak Prescott believer because you've been told your entire life, you need Tom Brady. You need Peyton Manning.
No, I mean, I know
need Brett Favre to win. Like,
I know he can win it, but it's just, to me, he's so average. It's like, I don't know. And he didn't go to the playoffs last year with that loaded roster. I thought they would have definitely gotten.
Yeah, they should have. But at the end of the day, it could have been coaching. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
Dak legit has no excuse after this. Like, if Dak doesn't perform well under
Mike McCarthy,
he's got problems.
Exactly.
Like, all the pressure is on Dak because the Cowboys are in a real sticky situation.
Mm-hmm.
The fact on Kobe said whole milk, by the way.
Yeah.
So Dak, they were dumb. The minute Carson Wentz signed his deal, the Cowboys should have been on the phone with Dak. We'll offer you $34 million over 4 years.
Yeah.
I guarantee he would have slammed the table and said, "Hell yeah!" last year.
Yeah.
Now he knows that these quarterbacks are going to go and get paid.
Yeah.
He knows next year he's worth 40. So yeah, I don't expect Dak to hold out. He'll play for his $33 million, and then he's going to leave and go get paid $40 million somewhere else. The Cowboys are in a rock and a hard place. And Mark Holmes, I'll give him credit. He saw this coming. He's like, listen, yeah, Dak might not be the greatest quarterback, but he's the best quarterback we're going to find for a long period of time. We have to pay this guy. And we should have paid him last year. We should have paid him this year, and we did it. And we're going to suffer for it. And you mark my words. Remember this day. We are going to suffer. And he's absolutely right. The Cowboys are all of a sudden seeing their effect. I don't think they have any cap space next year.
Do you think that they get a deal done before July?
No, I don't think they. I think they play. I think they're trying to play a hardball. They really want him to play. They want to pay him probably between 30 and 35 million, no more than that. I know they offered him 34. Maybe he wants more than that, but that's the ballpark the Dallas Cowboys want to be in. And he's like, no, I'm worth more than that. I'm the most important position. I've always said if I was a GM, I'd be the worst GM in sports. Because I imagine I had a good quarterback on my team. I'd listen. I'd be like, "Oh, you want 40 million? Yeah, of course I want 40 million. I'm the most important point in the team. All right, I'm taking your left tackle away.
You would have to.
Yeah, no, I would be like, okay, I'm going to cut your left tackle. I'm getting you a rookie left tackle. I'm going to cut your right tackle. I'm getting you a rookie right tackle. You okay with that?
Well, they would have.
Yeah. Do you want protection? Now, my first would be, do you want protection? And he'd be like, yes. Well, then take a lesser deal because you're going to get killed here. Because I can't do this. I can't pay you $50 million and then put a roster around you and expect you to win. Can you carry this team with being the only man on this field? No, then take the pay cut. I'd be the worst GM in sports. Everybody loves my ideas when it comes to the Giants, but I'm like, listen, I'd be the worst GM because I'd be making avid threats toward my players.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's bigger than an individual when it comes to like you're trying to restructure this thing, and the Cowboys are going to be in salary cap hell. They already are. They already can't really afford to spend that much more.
my 3-year-old is currently opening the fridge. You just took it's 9 o'clock at night. Opens up the fridge and grabs the lemonade. Isn't that great?
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on back there.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the fridge open a few times. I was like, okay, somebody's getting something from the fridge. Yeah, I don't know what the Cowboys are going to do with their salary cap situation. And I don't care because I don't like the Cowboys. So good for them. I'm happy that they're going through this tough time.
That's great.
Yes. There's like so many new, like it's crazy though. I can't wait for football. I think this is gonna be one of the most exciting seasons.
Well, we'll see if we get football.
Yeah.
April. You have the draft in April. Obviously free agency is almost over, but it's like they won't be able to practice. The people that you signed, you still have to go through a physical. Like the Giants may suddenly open up cap space because if like somebody like Blake or Bradbury doesn't pass their physical, they're not going to have them sight on the dotted line. Like they still need to be able to. So, I mean, it's going to be real interesting here. But you're definitely not going to get your normal, after April's draft, you usually have the rookie minicamp. You're definitely not going to have it right now.
Oh, yeah.
They're definitely going to cancel that. So we'll see where we are June, July.
Yeah.
But right now, things when it comes, I mean, I'm not going to make this whole thing about COVID, but because I think we're all tired of talking about it.
Yeah,
but
killing everything.
Things are going to get a little bit worse before they get actually better.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I mean, I don't like to be the bearer of bad news when it comes to that.
Yeah, we're still in the early stages of this thing, so which sucks. It's terrible. That it just screw the virus. I couldn't agree with you.
So I was like, so like the other day, like when I get out of work, because I gotta go pretty soon. But when I get out of work, I usually stop at Cumberland Farms. I'll pick a snack or a soda up or something like that.
Yeah.
So I pick my soda up. I'm walking out of the store, and a lady had bought a brand new soda. She opened it up in the store, but with the new rules at this Cumberland Farms, are like you're not allowed to eat or drink in the store. You must eat it.
Yeah.
Somebody told her that, and she lost it. Like that put her over the edge. Like coronavirus has affected her life so much. She takes her soda, walks out of the store, spikes it on the ground like she's Gronk, and she says, F coronavirus. She goes, screw this virus. It should die tomorrow. And gets in her car and just speeds away. I was laughing hysterically. It was ridiculous. Like the coronavirus had ruined her life, and she hadn't even gotten it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it really has. I mean, because like everything is just life is just so different. I never thought we would get to something like this, like working from home every day, not allowed to leave. And in New York, it's really bad, OGR. I live in New York City. So
does my sister. My sister lives in, she works at Mount Sinai.
Yeah, and I work in the city, so obviously can't go into Manhattan right now.
Yeah.
But it is terrible. Like everything, how it is multiplying like rapid here, like crazy.
Well, that's the thing. Like people, it's really, really crazy. Like I think more rules need to be implemented. Personally, if you really want to get a handle on it, but it's that whole balancing act that a lot of these states and cities and whatnot around the country. Do we want to stay productive and make a little bit of money, or do we want to lock everything down? So,
yeah.
Kobe, I told Philly Special the same thing. You are not going back to school this year. They're going to shut down schools. Like they're playing it up because there's a chance. Hey, maybe a miracle vaccine comes out of nowhere, or maybe they find a drug that really treats this. Okay, so then at that point they would allow you to go back to school. But right now that doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon. No, you're not going back to school.
They say there won't be a vaccine for at least a year.
Yeah, at least a year because they still have to go through clinical trials, but they have started clinical trials in Washington State. Like I heard that a couple weeks ago.
They have started it, but they have to make sure that it's safe for everybody to get the vaccine. So
you actually know how many phases they have to go through? There's like 3 different phases before they go through, and each and every time it's a bigger and bigger sampling of people. So like the first phase, they give it to like 10 to 15 people, see how they do. Then they go back, they make their adjustments. They come back in phase 2. It's like 100 to 300. Okay. Then you go to like a 1,000 or 3,000. And then after that, then you could finally mass produce it and the FDA clears it. Yeah, but they go through it's so many clinical trials.
Yeah, they have to, because they have to make sure first has to get FDA approved, and they have to make sure it's safe for everybody and make sure that doesn't,
it actually has success treating the viruses. Because I guarantee you could develop a vaccine tomorrow, but how you want something that's going to be at least 80% protective, 80%, works well against this virus.
What I've heard is there's more than one strand out there, so it's going to be tough.
Well, what they should be doing and letting us know, and I really suggest you read the journal if you really are fascinated by the New England Journal of Medicine. But basically, they should be taking strands from Italy, taking strands from Australia, U.S., and seeing if these strands match. I know they did it early on in Italy, and there was a slight amino acid difference between the strand in China and the strand in Italy, but it wasn't that big of a difference. Because, if it does mutate, now you have a whole new virus on your hand.
Yeah.
Whatever vaccine you develop is not going to work against this strain.
Yeah, that's true. And that's what makes it so scary, is that, viruses can always mutate. And there's times where you can have the virus and not have any symptoms. I think that's insane. Like,
that's the biggest danger. That's why you're seeing the outbreak you are and seeing in US across the US. Actually, I think we lead the world now as far as cases go. If you trust the Chinese data. But regardless of all that, the fact of the matter is I lost train of thought. But fact of the matter is, where were we like 2 minutes ago? I literally lost train of thought.
Yeah, we were just talking about the virus and how there could be so many different strands and how you got to test to see if they're all the same.
Oh, yeah. So that's where I was going to go with it. So you can be asymptomatic up to 14 days. I've heard of cases 21, 28 days, but for the most part, it's between 1 and 14 days. You're going to fall in that window. Just think about it. Somebody who's asymptomatic spreading the virus. even small, just droplet spread, me talking to you, if I'm closer than 6 feet, just think I'm just spraying this virus in your face. We should be testing everybody. You look at places like South Korea, they are the gold standard for what you need to do to get this virus under control. And you need to test everybody. And the fact that our president goes on national TV, Cuomo, my governor, Lamont in Connecticut, well, don't go to the hospital unless you have symptoms. On top of that, even if you have symptoms, you still have to call your general physician, at least in Connecticut. I know this is the case. You have to call your general physician, get permission, and then proceed to the facility to get tested. Wow. How bad is that? No, I should be able to get in my car right now, even though I'd be past 8 o'clock curfew. I should be able to get in my car right now, go to the hospital, get tested if I think I have it. Because, I'll tell you right now, I've potentially come in contact. I've told you before the stream, I potentially come in contact with people that have it. Now, it's all hearsay, and basically I'm waiting to develop symptoms while spreading it potentially to my wife and my kids. I don't agree with that at all. I think you should be testing everybody. If you want a test kit, I get it. We don't have a ton of test kits right now.
That's what I was going to say. That's the problem. We don't have enough test kits for everybody, and we should.
Because terrible. As a country, too many countries have been reactive in their diagnosis and not proactive. And if you want to get a disease under control, you need to be proactive. So me personally, you disagree with this, but me personally, I think everybody should be quarantined in their houses for at least 14 days.
I've not left.
If you think you have it or not, or come in contact, you should have permission and go see something. At this point, more test kits are coming out. I think you'll see that rule come into place at some point, but it's going to grow so much more in New York. I told my sister, she's a nurse practitioner at Mount Sinai. She works in the NICU.
Yeah.
So, but I told her, I said, they are going to ask you to go to the front lines. You mark my word. She goes, no. Yes, they will, Jen. You don't understand. You are a nurse practitioner. You are not a simple run-of-the-mill nurse. You are essentially almost a doctor. Yeah. They are going to ask you to go fight this disease on front line. They're going to give you basic training and say, go treat, because they're going to be overwhelmed very soon.
Yeah, they are overwhelmed, actually. Right now in New York City is very bad when it comes to hospital.
and I was talking to my sister last Saturday. And she was like, oh, no big deal. There's hardly any cases at Mount Sinai. There's got to be a lot more cases at Mount Sinai now. I literally watched a Twitter post from Mount Sinai. They are running out of gear to give the nurses and stuff. They're putting on trash bags.
Yeah, it's true. I've heard about that too. It's terrible what's going on. Yeah. So back to sports.
back to sports after our COVID talk. I eventually knew we were going to get into
COVID stuff. You're right. I hate talking about it, but it's impossible not to talk about it. It's just something that,
No, I try to limit it at work, but to me, I'm both fascinated. I've been following it since it broke out in China. I read peer review papers. I listen to doctors and former nurses that deal with this stuff. What I'm getting is somewhat factual. Yeah. Sometimes they're wrong in their information, but for the most part, I'm always on YouTube watching Dr. James Andrews. He's a former nurse in UK. Great guy. Peak Prosperity, another one. Forensic pathologist. Another great guy I watch, and it's I still follow it every day. I told guys at work, I'm like, hey, this is coming to our country, into early December. And they're like, you're out of your mind. And then now they're like, you were right. I think next time you warn about something, we're going to listen.
I said the same thing. It was around that December time period where I was like, I could see this exploding, and it actually went way crazier than even I thought it was going to go.
Yeah. I should be saying this, but I'll say it anyways. It's not too bad. So me and my foreman actually have a bet. It's a stupid bet. It's a sad bet. But I said, his name is Bill. I go, Bill, listen, by May 17th, I predict at least 100K deaths worldwide. He goes, no, you ain't going to get that. I said, yeah, we are. I said, that's the sad thing about this. I said, it's just exponential growth. And I said, I'll bet you breakfast on it. He's like, you're on. I'm like, okay. At the end of the day today, he goes, I'll buy you breakfast tomorrow. It's come that bad because we're averaging 2,500 deaths per day.
Yeah.
And it's exponential growth. You know the lag time. But again, like you said, enough of the COVID-19.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
let's go back to sports.
Yeah, because that's also like a great way to not like think about this. Because I mean, I think about this like every day because of the fact that I wake up, I'm working from home. I'm not going to the office anymore. It just feels weird, at this point.
Definitely. I mean, it's got to be somewhat relaxing.
It is. I mean, it is, but it's like at the same time, I miss going to work and talking to my coworkers and all of that. But we're told to do this, and I'm doing this.
Hey, you know what? It's good. It's good that you have a job that you can actually work from home. Like me, I can't.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah. No, I feel bad for the people that can't work at home, or have lost their jobs because of this. Like a lot of people have lost their jobs because of.
I feel bad. I really feel bad as small businesses because when they do sit there and say, "Oh, you know what? This is the backbone of our country."
Mm-hmm.
It's the truth. My dad was a small business owner growing up, and he goes, "I'll tell you right now," because we were all having a family meal, and he goes, "I'll tell you right now." He goes, "Had this happened 8 years ago when you guys were still living under our roof, or even more, 10 years ago when you guys were still living under a roof, and I had my business, I couldn't have survived more than 2 months."
Yeah. No, really, small businesses, it's killing. Yeah, left and right, it's terrible.
But as far as sports go, man, there really isn't a whole lot of sports talk. Like we covered what we could with the Giants, and as far as basketball goes, I don't think you're going to see basketball this year. I honestly don't. I don't think
you think basketball is done.
I think you're going to have a shortened baseball season as well, if a baseball season at all.
How many games are you predicting that we get in baseball?
Like I was talking to Philly Special the other day, and he's like, "I predict 132 or 120." I said,
what?
And he's like, "Oh, and they'll just do a bunch of doubleheaders." I'm like, one, they can't even play the schedule out. How are you going to determine what teams play at that point? I said, you're going to have to start the schedule wherever it starts the schedule. And I said, at best, I say July.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I figure April's going to be hard. May's going to be, maybe you see the curve start to slow, and then June. But if you start going back and you have no vaccine and you don't have mass people that have been immunized by having the disease and surviving it, and or just having mild symptoms and growing immunity to it, you put people back in ballparks and stadiums and basketball courts, you're going to have reinfection. So you still have to be careful even then. So it's a real determining factor, but honestly, I don't think you see a season at all. I think this is going to take at least the summer to really clear everybody's system, or have enough people in the United States where you have a good amount of immunization that it's a slight problem, something like what H1N1 was for us, like serious, but not so much that it's crazily overwhelming hospitals. Yeah, then you can safely start introducing people back into the population and then start getting back to normal. But I don't think we're going to have a baseball season. But if at best I see them starting mid-July, what's that, 82 games left at that point? 100 or 82 games you might get.
They would have cut the season down significantly.
They're talking about playing baseball games into, like Rob Manfred was telling the best and worst case scenario, and they were talking about playing games into December.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't know about you, Rob, but you can't play. Minnesota Twins can't play in snow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can't play in rain, let alone snow.
So I don't know. Like Boston, you don't want to be playing in 20-degree weather, 30-degree weather. Like it's just baseball it's just not a very good cold weather sport. So there's just so many.
Baseball is a warm weather sport, not
So like there's a reason why it's played in the spring and summer, and it ends in fall. So I don't know about you. I think that you don't see baseball and basketball. They're talking about playing until September. I'm like, these guys, even though they have a break now, are going to want their summer break.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the players. I don't think you're going to see basketball either. Like, if June rolls around and things are not better, they have no choice but to cancel it. Like, you still have the NBA draft coming up in Summer League. What are you going to do? Wait to draft the kids in December?
Yeah, that's true.
And like delay the start of that season? Like, you're just not going to see a season. With basketball, I think it's all but over for basketball. Same with hockey. I mean, really, the only thing as fans we have to look forward to is football because it's so far away, and even then, it's going to be adversely effective because of what about training camp and all
OTA
that
stuff. Yeah.
OTAs. Yeah,
Yeah. I wonder, man. It's just terrible.
it really is terrible.
Uh,
But unfortunately, this is the way it's affecting. And I really do feel bad for a lot of our live streaming friends. I really do feel bad for, guys are getting to the point where they're calling old Super Bowls.
Yeah. I thought that was yeah. I told Rich.
I told Rich, I said, good luck and whatnot. But I said, bro, I know what happens.
Yeah.
The great thing about live sports is you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you being able to call and react to it is great, but
it's different because when you know something, you don't react the same as when you don't. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to do that. Like to call an old game or to know something like that, I would not be able to do that. I just wouldn't find it fun.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. But unfortunately, here I got to run here because I got to put these kids to bed. Okay. I didn't even realize it's like 9:15. So
yeah, I didn't know what time you had to go. So anyway, I want to just thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. Man.
Feel free to come on more often. And maybe I'll come
if you're free, 8 o'clock, 8:30 is usually a good time during the week for me. So hey, if you feel like you want me on, by all means, I'll come on, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Great. That's usually a good time for me too, because even though I work from home, I work late hours till like 7, all that. So, I really appreciate you coming on. It was great talking to you. I'll love watching your videos. If you guys have not, please subscribe to OGR. His link is in the description. So anything you want to say before we end the stream?
For most part, I knew everybody in the chat. I know I appreciate all the subscribers. Again, I appreciate you bringing me on. You don't have to, and you did. So it's cool to, be able to talk to other people in the YouTube community and, probably make a friend out of it, I would assume. Yeah, but again, I appreciate you bringing me on, my man. And, I appreciate interacting with the chat. So, and that's all I have to say about that.
It's great. We're Giants fans. We should collaborate. There's no sports and we have more time to collaborate, Yeah. And it's great. Sure. And it was nice talking to you. I'm going to end this stream and we'll see you guys later. And I'll have you on again and we'll definitely talk again, man.
Sounds good.
Have a good one, everybody. I'm going to end this stream and peace out.